From the Aishan Broadcast Studio, it's Medium Duty at Large.
Welcome back to Medium Duty at Large, our little show about a big industry. I'm Kevin Linger, managing editor and producer of Fleet Equipment.
And I'm Jason Morgan, content director for Fleet Equipment.
Hi, Jason Morgan, content director for Fleet Equipment. How are you?
Hello, Kevin Linger. It is great to be back. What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about a very exciting brand. Not that other brands aren't exciting, but Kenworth. They've had a lot of stuff going on in their medium duty world recently.
That's right. A lot going on. They got engine options, transmission options. They got technology. I mean, it's a lot to keep track of.
It is, and I can't keep track of it, but I do know someone who can help us sort it out.
Oh, good.
Our guest today is Rachel Woods, the medium duty marketing manager for Kenworth. Let's bring her in now. Want to welcome in our guest today, Rachel Woods, the medium duty marketing manager for Kenworth. Rachel, how is everything going for you?
Things are going great. We're off to a new year and really excited about the potential we have for the medium duty segment here at Kenworth.
And we're excited to talk about that medium duty segment here on Medium Duty at Large. Let's get to our first question. Kenworth T380 and T380V, they're both capable medium duty truck models. So can you walk me through some of the key differences between the two and maybe which industries are best suited for each model?
Yeah, so I think kind of before we get into that, I'll backtrack a little bit and just cover the medium duty lineup that we have at Kenworth. So we cover class 5, 6, 7, and 8 with our medium duty product. So you're going to be looking at your T180s, T280s, T380s, and then your T480s kind of progressively going up by class size. All of these trucks are going to be built on the same chassis platform, same frame rails, same components. Really, the only thing that changes is going to be those axle capacities and the GVWRs accordingly on that. Diving in specifically on the T380 trucks here, the T380 is going to feature our aero hood. So this hood is going to offer essentially the best visibility. So this is great for industries where they're maybe in some of those tight urban environments or working on a tight job site. Great for kind of pickup delivery type applications. And then when you need something with a little bit more vocational applications, right? That's where you're going to go into that T380V. So it's going to have that larger vocational hood. You do lose a little bit of the visibility, but with that, you do get the full parent frame rails. This is going to be great for customers that have to mount like hydraulic pumps, winches, snowplow applications. So you'll really find these trucks on more construction type job sites or with municipality type applications. It's also great if you've got FEPTO or REPTO applications that you're speccing for. The great thing about the vocational hood is it has that fixed grille. So as you're opening the hood, you don't run into any constraints with that grille bumping into anything that you might have mounted on the front of the truck there. And that's primarily the biggest two differences there between the 380 and the 380V.
All right, well, let's talk power, and really in terms of engine and transmission options, because I know PACCAR has done a lot of work on the engine side and transmission side in that vocational space. So when we're talking T380 and T380V, what are those power options that are available?
Yeah, so both the 380 and the 380V are going to come standard with a PX7 engine rated at 200 horsepower. And then it's going to come with a TX8 transmission, and that standard is rated at 560 pounds per foot. So with both trucks, you can spec kind of the whole lineup of PX7 as well as the PX9 engine. So the 7 range in terms of horsepower is going to be 200 up to 325. And then for the PX9, you're looking at 260 all the way up to 380 horsepower. For the transmissions that we have, like we mentioned, the TX8 is going to be that automatic 8-speed, gives you very automotive-like feel as you're driving the truck. For those that need a little bit more power and torque, we do have the TX12. So that's going to be great for kind of more of those tougher jobs or where you are operating at pretty low speeds, having those more gears available to you. And then the TX12 Pro is going to have a few more features. So it's going to have that rock-free mode to help drivers get their trucks out of any environment where they may be stuck. Tires might be spinning a little bit on them. And then there's also different calibrations that you can program. So you might have your high speed, low speed calibrations. You might have your off-road, on-road calibration. So it just gives fleets that need more out of their transmissions, it gives them more options available to them.
So that, and going back to it, because I've been in that rock-free mode, those two before. So you mentioned I just want to give people an idea of what that is. The truck is stuck, or maybe immobile, or maybe you're between two bumps, or you're on a vocational construction site, right? And you're kind of in a ditch a little bit in the tire. So that just rocks kind of back and forth and gets you up and going, right?
Yep. And then once you're free, you're able to disengage that and carry on as you were before.
Yeah, very cool.
We talked a little bit about this at the top as far as what trucks are suited for what industries, but while we're talking about spec'ing, let's get a little more detail on what would you recommend someone spec for a T380 for utility work compared to one for heavy delivery purposes?
Yeah, those are going to be two entirely different trucks. And the one thing about working with the Kenworth dealer group here is that you can go in and sit down with the Kenworth salesperson, give them everything that you need to get your driver through the day-to-day operations. And they're able to help kind of tailor that truck to your specific needs. So when you're looking at someone that's operating in more of a utility type of environment, some of the questions I might ask are PTO usage. How are you using a PTO? How often? Where are you going to be accessing that, right? Are you going to be accessing it from inside the cab, from outside the cab? Is the vehicle stationary? Is it going to be mobile while you have that PTO engaged? And these are all important with how you spec different switches that are be going into the truck, what kind of transmission, what kind of PTO you're going to be running on the truck. I think also understanding the bodybuilder that that customer is working with, understanding what kind of frame rail space you're going to need, and making sure that if necessary, we have the clear backup cab. And then I think kind of the other piece for the utility is where is this truck going to be operated, right? We do have front drive axle configurations available for those vehicles that might be a little bit more in the dirt around those construction sites. I think once you start getting into more of the heavier haul or higher payloads, and I'm thinking kind of more like a beverage delivery type vehicle, it's going to be very much different, right? You're looking a lot at the torque. So those ratings on your engine, the ratings on your transmissions, making sure that you're going to have enough torque behind that to start whatever the load may be at whatever kind of environment you're on, right? On a hill. Other things to factor in are making sure that you've got kind of that engine, your top operating speed or ideal operating speed calculated in there correctly so that we could get you the right rear axle ratio so that you're going to get the most out of that truck, regardless of what you've got either loaded in it or towing behind it. Other things that I'd say important on a heavier load is going to be that suspension. We offer a couple of different air suspension options. We've got the Kenworth Air Glide, which is a great product that's going to offer that comfortable ride. We've also got a couple options from Hendrickson. So we think, it's really important to make sure that both your driver and whatever product you're delivering gets there in perfect condition, right? We also have tandem axles available, and what that's going to do is actually bump you out of that class 7 space with the 380 and move you up into class 8 with the T480. So again, if you have a really heavy load and this is going to be kind of anticipated day to day, we recommend taking a look at doing a tandem axle configuration.
Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
So real quick, for the Kenworth sales team, if anyone's watching interested in learning more, should they have some of this knowledge already on what they're looking for, or can we just reach out to Kenworth and then they know the right questions to ask to get them the right truck?
There's a handful of information out there already to kind of help you with that. For the Kenworth dealers, going through our ordering tool, there's a lot of great resources and information within that to help make sure that trucks are being spec'd right. There's a lot of logic that goes into that tool to make sure that you're getting compatible systems. And then Of course, the Kenworth dealer group does have access to all of our engineers. So if there is a question as you're speccing the truck, they're able to contact them directly and work to make sure that we're really dialing in exactly what that customer needs, so that they get the product that's going to help them get their job done.
Yeah, and a good point too, I think, because especially in vocational applications, the turn cycles can be a little longer. Truck technology moves at a lightning speed now these days. So even a lot of the features that you mentioned here might be new to someone, or they might not even understand how it fits the applications, right? Engine, horsepower, torque, all those things get more efficient, and maybe you don't even need as much power as you think you used to 5, 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, and we do see a lot of people come in and they say, "Hey, I need this, high horsepower engines." And you start talking to them, okay, well, what are your operating conditions? What are you hauling? How long are you hauling it? And you find that they can get all of that performance they need out of a lower horsepower engine when you've got it paired with that right transmission, and you dial in the rear axle ratios, and they're usually pretty surprised with what we can get them in.
Right. Yeah, and save some fuel burn there as well. And one of the other technologies
Yeah.
that I think has been growing in the vocational space that's really interesting is advanced driver assistance systems. Right, the ADAS, these advanced safety systems that are helping keep the driver, the vehicle, and those around the job site safe. What do you offer in terms of that, and how have you seen that adoption evolve over the past couple of years?
Yeah. So we do offer a couple of different products that customers can spec on their trucks. So the first one's going to be the Bindex Wingman, and then we've got the Bindex Fusion. So those are ones that, again, we recommend go in, sit down with the Kenworth salesperson and say, what are things that would bring benefit to your fleet? And we'll make sure that we get the right one spec'd on there. But what comes with most of those systems, something like electronic stability control, lane and highway departure warnings, kind of keeping you where you need to be on the road, adaptive cruise control. People are finding that that is a great feature, right? Being able to adjust your speed necessary on the road, whether it's speed up a little, slow down a little, and really just kind of take some of that pressure off of the driver. We've got headway distance alerts. We've got side object detection that you can get spec'd on the trucks. I think the one that we hear the most kind of feedback on that people think is just kind of cool to have on their trucks is the collision mitigation technology. What we hear is, especially if you're thinking like your utility customer, maybe there's a fleet of them all going out to the same job site. Sometimes they get a little bit autopilot, they're a little tuned out, they're just trying to follow the one in front of them, but maybe also looking off over here and they stop, right? So being able to have that collision mitigation stuff, uh, it'll alert the driver, right? Hey, get your eyes on the road, take a look. If necessary, it'll engage the braking system to at least minimize whatever impact there may be, if not avoid it altogether. And again, the fleets are really responsive to this. If you go out and survey them, it's all about safety. How do we keep our drivers safe? How do we keep people around them safe? And how do we keep our vehicles in one piece? And by being able to kind of pair together the package, and again, going and sitting through and seeing what technologies will add value to your fleet. Um, like I said, we find customers that are just loving it, and they haven't came to us yet with an option or technology that we don't have, that they haven't liked.
Reducing collisions, very important. Another important thing for fleet managers is reducing downtime. So moving from ADAS to telematics, connected technologies, what kind of offerings are available on the T380, other medium duty models that can really help monitor performance and make maintenance easier?
Yeah, so with Kenworth here, we have what's called Truck Tech Plus, and that's going to be your remote diagnostic system. So anytime there's a engine or after treatment fault code that pops on the truck, the fleet operations manager or whoever's been kind of designated for that fleet gets a notice. They get a notice of what the fault is, and then they're able to kind of on the fly make the decision of low impact. We'll let them finish their day. We'll schedule the maintenance. We'll bring the truck in when it's convenient for us. Or if it's more of a critical fault, right, they're able to make that decision on the spot to say, hey, we got to pull this truck today. Do we have any others in the fleet we can get out there, and let's get this truck in the shop and get that repair done before it causes more damage to the engine or the after treatment system. The other thing that you're able to do is pair that with the PACCAR solutions, which is going to be kind of our web-based uh, truck monitoring system. So different fault codes that might be pulling on the trucks, list of the maintenance there, and then it also connects the fleets with our industry leading Kenworth dealers and service network, and gets them in touch with kind of the closest one with wherever that truck is, so that again that they're making that connection, that contact, they're getting the truck scheduled, they're getting the parts on order, and really just streamlines all of that and reduces that hassle and the stress of trying to piece all the elements together on your own. And then as far as telematics, what we do is we offer pre-wired solutions so that customers can spec that on their truck to work with their preferred telematics system. And with that, we're able to find that customers can match it up with what they use best, and then they're able to create those tailored reports specifically for their fleets to track the things that are most important to them.
All right, Rachel, thank you very much. Before we go, any last words, anything that we are not asking that we should be?
Like I said, if anybody's interested, if they're curious, if they need to know more, reach out to your local Kenworth dealer, have a conversation with them. There's just about nothing we can't spec on a truck. I think that what makes Kenworth pretty unique, is we're able to give you a pretty customized solution where you're not having to just make any sacrifices, right? So get out there, ask the questions, get curious, and we'll see what we can build out for you.
All right, Rachel Woods, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
There's a lot going on in a medium duty package.
Always is.
And I think that was one of my takeaways too. Because we're in it every day. So we talk about transmissions, the technology, the ADAS, right? But it's easy to forget that these options can be difficult to wrap your head around if you aren't speccing a truck every day, which they're out there using the trucks. Vocational cycles can be a number of years, right? They can be a while since they've specced a new truck. Always good to have the conversation.
Yes, and I think that in this industry, it's good with the pre-wired telematic options. People can use what they want because you might be adopting a new truck, you might be expanding your business. You might have done landscaping. Now you could branch out into construction. You could kind of, so you need different things.
Well, and you know what? That was one of the interesting bullet points that I thought as well, because you've seen a lot of integrated telematics solutions now here. Kenworth offering the pre-wired one, it does let you have a little bit more configuration of what data you need, because the data that a Beverage regional truck needs going in city centers versus a truck that's on construction job sites out in kind of remote areas, running different duty cycles, different engine cycles, you're going to need a little different of a telematic option there. So, I mean, really, whatever you need to build, you build it.
And while you are customizing trucks, you can also customize your subscription settings to our Fleet Equipment newsletter, so you never miss an episode of Medium Duty at Large, Unscripted, On the Road, any of our other great content. We want to thank you for joining us today and thank Rachel for stopping by. I'm Kevin Linger.
I'm Jason Morgan.
And we'll see you next time.